Hello, I'm Clare from the Hive of Wellbeing. I read an article today on a survey carried out by King's College University in London on groups of people who are coping with the lockdown. People interviewed were classified as sufferers, resistors, or acceptors. So sufferers reported a greater feeling of suffering, the consequences of the lockdown, so from the feelings of depression to anxiety or loss of a job. Resistors felt that the lockdown was extreme, and although they generally followed the rules, they had a greater tendency to challenge the extreme form of the lockdown as they saw it, such as adhering to the 2-metre rule. And acceptors, those were the ones who had largely accepted the lockdown expectations and kept to them. What struck me when I read this article was that although I probably identified predominantly with the acceptors, I had also identified on different days, at different times, as a sufferer, thinking how hard it could be on lockdown and experiencing some anxiety about the situation, or as a resistor, and sometimes feeling aggrieved that I just can't pop out to the shops as I would like. In the webinar for the GTC last week, I referred to acceptance as a practice, and in that practice we consider the idea that this is how things are for now. In this video, I want to explore this idea a little further, so that when we do feel like we are suffering or that we are resisting what is, then we can support ourselves to reach for a better feeling place. I'm conscious that I'm not going to relate this video specifically to an educational context, although I know you will be able to do that yourselves. But I would like to relate to you in a very personal and a very specific way today in this video. When we do feel anxiety or frustration or overwhelm in any given moment during lockdown and at other times in our lives, a tool that can be useful is that of becoming curious. Becoming curious as to what is happening externally and also what is happening within our own inner landscape. Earlier last week, I found myself experiencing a certain amount of agitation, which then grew in intensity, and it felt like quite a sense of feeling anxious and anxiety. Within my body, I felt unease in my tummy, and I felt a certain sense of fluttering around my chest area in my upper body. On that occasion, I decided to sit with it and just to get curious about where this was coming from. Because at the same time on the day before and the day before that, I hadn't felt this. I'd felt quite calm. I'd felt quite measured. So I needed to get curious about what was going on. So I thought about my external environment. What was my external environment like in that moment? Well, I recognised that I had been watching the news earlier that morning. I knew that we were all to be on lockdown for a further few weeks. I'm also aware that I'm still not able to meet up with my family, and I was very aware that I missed them. But my immediate external environment that I had this sense of anxiety within was not that. My immediate external environment was me in my garden, where I had fresh air, I had coffee, and I felt relatively safe. So what I had originally thought was my external environment was actually my inner landscape. So really it was my mental relationship with my external world was causing me to feel a certain element of resistance or suffering, and it manifested as this anxiety within my body. My thoughts had gone to a place of the past and the future over which I had no control. I missed my family. I will only meet them in the future, and I have enjoyed being with them in the past. You see, our anxiety can be fueled by thinking too far ahead, and our low mood can be fueled by what we should have done, could have done, would have done in the past. So I'm thinking far ahead about that hug with my family members. And I'm thinking about the past where I wish I'd been more grateful for the hugs we've had in the past. But how much thinking about the future or the past can really support me in feeling good now? And now is where I need to be. All we have is the present. All we have is the now. So what is possible in the now? When we practice acceptance, what we are really doing is saying yes to the now. And by being in this moment, what can I say yes to? On that particular day last week, I made choices that I could make to support my mental state and my physical state. I recognised that when I had felt better earlier on the week, or when I had felt good earlier in the day, I recognised that I was focusing on the things that matter most to me. So the things that matter most to me, the first one is I need to feel purposeful. So cleaning, clearing out stuff, working on projects, doing work, all help me in my acceptance of the current situation. Taking control of what is possible and not losing sight of my personal power allow me to feel good in the present moment. Secondly, feeling connected also supports me in accepting how things are for now. Seeing my mum and dad on FaceTime just now matters a lot, and it matters most to me that I see them every day. In the absence of their physical hugs at the weekend, I get to see them over FaceTime every single day, and that's what's needed right now. The third aspect for me is exercise. It's vital for me. A walk, a run, a feeling of being out there for a little while helps me to accept what is happening now and how I can then deal with in here too. Being outside gives me perspective. The landscape around me when I walk, when I run, it's unchanging, and I need that constant night now to remind me that this is something I can control when everything else is changing around me. And lastly for me, enjoyment, laughter every single day, that matters most to me. And allows me to deal with the uncertainty that we all are all having to endure. Seeing videos of people enjoying a lighter side of life just now really gives me a sense of being able to cope with the now and being able to accept that there is a lighter side to life and it's okay to enjoy that too. I came across this quote from Eckhart Tolle, who wrote The Power of Now, and he says, "Whatever the present moment contains, accept it as if you had chosen it." What if every day we choose to accept that this is where we are for now, and that in every moment we have a new choice to make and more new experiences to create? Just be curious. Thank you so much.